Okay, there we go. Am I streaming? Can you guys see me? Okay. Okay, cool. Hey, what's going on, guys? Let me move this up here, actually. Actually, that's a terrible idea. I'm not gonna do that. Oh, this works. Shit! Do not mean to do that. Cancel. Go away. There we go. Hey, what's up, Josiah? How you doing, buddy? Booyakasha. All right. Sorry, I'm late today. Oh, I mean, I'm late every week. But this week I was late. Not for any rational reason. I was looking for my green beanie. I still can't find that motherfucker. So mystical green beanie is beanieless. Sorry about that. But how you guys doing? What's going on? In the words of the immortal, fuck, what's his name? He's the guy who directed shit. Wait, I can't remember his name. Fuck it. Hold on a second. David. How the fuck did I forget David Lynch's name? I'm embarrassed by myself now. Actually, that's. If I had any more pride, I would commit seppuku because that's terrible. How do you forget David Lynch? But you know how David Lynch, on his social media, is always like, if you can believe it, it's a Friday once again. God, David Lynch is such a treasure. He's a national treasure. I love him so much. But yeah, if you can believe it, it's a Wednesday once again. Not the same punch as David Lynch, but I'm not David Lynch, so there it goes. Hey Tristan, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. Alright, so Tristan says, hi, Mystical Green Beanie. Books I got were Amazing Spider-Man number 92, Venom number 6, Devil's Reign number 5. That came out today? Huh. 10 Lives of Wolverine number 4, Strange Academy number 17. Yeah, buddy of mine was telling me about that earlier. My local comic shop. Eternals number 10. I missed it. I think that's the beginning of a big event, which is really interesting. People are giving it a lot of shit because movie synergy, but it's Kieran Gillen. I don't think you understand. if you're bitching about a Kieran Gillen event, I really don't think you know who Kieran Gillen is. Kieran Gillen's kind of amazing. If I'm gonna be one of those comic book fans about it, kind of amazing, Kieran Gillen. I think the only thing they've done so far that I don't like is maybe Iron Man. I didn't like his Iron Man at all, but outside of that, I really like Kieran Gillen a lot. And that Eternals book has been great so far. I've been collecting it in trade. Son of Kal-El number 9, Naomi number what? Is it another Naomi book? Huh, interesting. Killing Time number 1 and Radiant Red number 1. Alright. And Naomi season 2 number 1. Okay, so they're doing it in seasons. Got you. And Josiah says, I just read Al Ewing's Ultimates run today. I am now fully enlightened. Well, I mean, there's no better way to describe the feelings that one would feel after reading Al Ewing's Ultimates. That's the best way to to describe reading that book. You will feel enlightened. Great stuff. For me, it was pretty light week. Mainly just because I'm trying to save money for stuff coming out next week. Tevia, hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Tevia says my internet is broken. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. But it's been going around. I hope your stuff is resolved sooner rather than later. My girlfriend told me that there was a solar storm. She didn't tell me that. She told me this a couple months ago. So information I already had in my head. But there was a solar storm a couple months ago, and it's still apparently affecting electronics around the world. So, yeah. But yeah, he says, so I'm currently running on cell phone tower right now. Oh, good luck, dude. What was I talking about? Oh, right. So, yeah, not a lot came out this week that I was like, oh, I need to get this. I only got like 2 books this week, and like one of them came out like a couple months ago. But I did hold off another trade that I wanted to get, which was the first volume of Philip Kennedy Johnson's Action Comics. I think it's War World Rising. Yeah, that came out today, or I guess yesterday, because DC has the weird release schedule. But yeah, I've been like reading the issues for that here and there. Words at my local comic shop, and buying issues periodically on Comixology. So I know what's happening, but that's a book that I'm definitely going to collect and trade because Philip Kennedy Johnson is just. But you've heard me talk about the Philip Kennedy Johnson Action Comics run. It's amazing. You know how I feel about that. But I kind of kept it light this week, mainly because next week is going to be a pretty big week, and JLA Avengers drops next week, so I'm saving money to get that. But in the meantime, I did pick up some comics today. Some comics that I thought were pretty cool. And the first book that I got this week is... Actually, hold on a second. I should probably do this first. Probably share stream before I go any further and talk about the comics that I'm reading. All things I should have done before the stream instead of looking for my fucking beanie. But okay. Comics that I read this week. First off, Superman and Lobo number 3. This is the final issue of this miniseries. This has been really fun. Dude, honestly, this just kind of reminds me what, cool classic Superman storytelling is and can be. I saw Tim Seeley talking about how he felt nervous about this book, and I don't know why he feels nervous about it. Like, this is a cool ass Superman comic. I'm liking the stuff that's coming out now with Philip Kennedy Johnson. Some of the Superman Red and Blue stuff was pretty good too, but this just feels like a classic Superman comic, and it's really fun. It was great. I love Lobo. I love the way that Tim Seeley uses Lobo in here. The art by Mirka Andolfo took a bit of time to get used to. I'm not used to Mirka Andolfo's superhero work. I know a lot of their cheesecake work. Don't ask me how, but I know. Sweet Paprika is a really fun book. My girlfriend really likes that comic. It was really cute. But yeah, no, I'm kind of used to Mirka Andolfo for more of slice of life kind of fantasy things, and this is a big kind of epic sci-fi satire, and I don't know, I just, it took some getting used to, but I genuinely do kind of like it in the end. Stop it. But yeah, no, I love the art here. It's absolutely breathtaking. Once you get used to it, that is. I also love the commentary that Tim Seeley has about modern conventions and writing Superman, where he's this ultra edgelord injustice type tyranny character. I think there's a line where Lois Lane straight up says, alright, she says alright, see, I'm a writer. I know good writing when I see it. And even more than that, I know bad writing. Stereotypes, lazy tropes, bad characterization, and shock for the sake of shock. Superman going full fascist, installing himself as a god emperor with Toyman as his seer. The army of robot sex toys turned shock troopers. It doesn't feel right, you know? But we're living in a badly written story authored by an edgelord. That's kind of how I feel about the bulk of Superman content coming out the past couple of years by writers who don't seem to understand the character. Namely Injustice. Like, no, dude, seriously, just... Yeah, no. This is great. This is perfect. It's genuinely hilarious. Also understands the point of Lobo as a character. Lobo is not a character to be taken seriously. I'm sorry, Lobo fans who think Lobo's like this amazing, figure of, like the deep, complex, rich storytelling. But Lobo's a parody character. He's a parody of, the badass characters from like the 90s and whatnot. Like Wolverine. Basically, Lobo is Wolverine, but like Superman powered. Or much rather, he's a parody of Wolverine, and he's Superman powered, and that's the point of the character. He's in the same vein of like Deadpool, kind of. If we're gonna like be reductionist about that, or I guess be reductionist about the character. And Tim Seeley really understands that. He really understands how to utilize Lobo within the story, and I just had a really fun time reading this. Like, again, it felt like reading Superman again. That's not to say that, some of the stuff coming out now doesn't feel like Superman, but it's hard to explain. Like, rereading all of those City of Tomorrow. I put this in my mouth. What the fuck is wrong with me? But rereading all of those City of Tomorrow trade paperback reprints, this just kind of felt like that. And this reminded me of what classic Superman comics, I guess by my lived experiences and standards, this just felt like classic Superman to me. This felt like early 2000s, Joe Kelly, Joe Schultz, City of Tomorrow era Superman. And if that's what you're into, if that's what you're looking for, yeah, man, I think this is the comic for you. This is the final issue, though. But it was a really fun story. And legitimately justified being a Black Label book. Well, not legitimately justified being a Black Label book. I still maintain that this could have just been a fun, little miniseries, but no, I think the Prestige format works really well for the art, because Mirka Andolfo does a really good job with a lot of these panels and action sequences. So yeah, no, I highly recommend this if you're a Superman fan. Definitely good stuff. Yeah, look at that. Really cool. So yeah. Let's see. Tevia says, "Cool, My Hero Academia shirt." Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. I think my girlfriend got this for me from an anime convention that she went to. Yeah, no, I like it a lot too. And the second book that I got this week was Batman the Imposter. And yes, it is still shrink wrapped. But I've already kind of read the book. I already read it at my local comic shop in single issues. But I just picked up the trade because I prefer reading comics in trade, as I've found in recent months. This comic is absolutely breathtaking. I love it. It's an Elseworlds book, so it does kind of break away from certain narrative conventions with the character of Batman. For example, this is a Batman who operates without Alfred. Alfred pieced the fuck out of Bruce Wayne's life when Bruce was 13, because he just couldn't handle Bruce's violent outburst and like emotional uh, troubles growing up in the wake of his family tragedy. Um, and there's also other things here like I think it's like Arnold Wesker. Um, he's like a potential villain in the series, but he doesn't he doesn't turn bad. You know, Bruce actually has an arc in the story where really it's the arc from the Batman movie. You know, I don't want to talk too much about that here right now because I'm kind of waiting until I actually drop my review for the Batman, which is tomorrow. I'm dropping that tomorrow. But yeah, no. Very similar arc where Bruce kind of goes from being a vengeful, angry creature of the night, who like revels in kind of the violence of Batman and like the positive outcomes of that violence, which he sees as like um a necessary sacrifice for his sanity and his well being as a person. Um, he goes from having that mentality of justice to actually caring about the people of Gotham and the well-being of the citizens of the city in a more direct route, which is more in line with traditional comic book Batman. And yeah, no, I genuinely like this comic a lot. Uh, I saw the review for it by the Real Comic Book Gamer. He's the person who like really turned me on to it. Because I originally just kind of like I ignored it because it's more Batman and Jesus Christ, we are in an age of Batman oversaturation. Uh, but yeah, no, I'm glad I picked this up. I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I watched that review. So shout out to the Real Comic Book Gamer. And I'm really glad that I picked this up because this is a real treat. Um, like I mean, it's one of those things where it is frustrating that uh, it feels like Batman is the only character that DC wants to do anything with, um, and it does feel like there's a lack of quality control with some of the Batman content that we've been getting from DC. Um, Also been a problem where like a lot of the Batman stories that we've been getting from DC for the past like 2 or 3 years kind of feel derivative. Or if they're telling the same exact story and they're coming out like months apart or running concurrently. Um, but this didn't really have that. And I'm I'm glad that uh, I'm glad that it lived up to the hype. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. Um, Also, I absolutely love Andrea Sorrentino's art. I think it's really great. Okay, let me find a really cool one here. All right, so here's the cover. Here's a cover. You know, looks really good. Looks really good. Actually, hold on a second. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, cool. All right. Talking about the Batman. I talked about Batman the Imposter. I forgot where I left off. But yeah, no. Nonetheless, this comic's really great, and I absolutely adore it. It's great. Also, this is like one of the cool things about these hardcovers. There's like the cover there, but also this like cool little. Why am I jacking off the book? It's a cool little like undercover. So yeah, great stuff. But yeah, no. That's really all I read this week. But yeah, let me see what else we got up in here in the chats. Tevia says, I wanted to ask a question. Oh, no, this is Tristan, my bad. Tristan says, I wanted to ask a question. Would you like DC to make a Ghostmaker Clown Hunter series? If so, who would be the writer-artist on the 7 or 8 issue miniseries? Honestly, I don't want a Clown Hunter series. Just because I think the Bat family's too big. I think there's too many characters in Gotham. I think there's too much going on in that city, and I'm just kind of done with it. If you catch my drift. Which I don't think I'm being subtle there. I would like DC to stop doing stuff with, like, you know, stop adding vigilantes. Please stop it. It's a lot. It's too much. And it's also like adding to the overall Batman problem that I have. Tevia says Superman versus Lobo sounds really interesting. Yeah, man. Again, if you're like really into early 2000s, like that Ed McGuinness era for the character of Superman, I think you'd really like it. So the artwork looks great. Yeah. Tevia says I will give Son of Kal-El the latest issue. I will give Son of Kal-El latest issue this, though they at least address Bendis' terrible Superman garbage. However, I still wished we got to see my boy Jonathan Samuel Kent as his little 10-year-old self. I mean, yeah, that's like a thing that's we're probably just gonna see again. And I've talked about that before, but like it's just we've crossed that bridge. It is over. I'm glad you found something to like about the current Nightwing book, or I guess no, Son of Kal-El book. I get them confused because they're both written by Tom Taylor, and I feel the same way about them. Honestly. Tevia also says, and it developed his friendship with Nightwing naturally. Well, I'm glad you feel that way. I'm in the minority who, I guess, doesn't. Tristan says, I'm planning on reading Batman the Imposter. Yeah, man, it's really cool. I really enjoyed it when I was reading it. You know, way better than I thought it would be. You know, I just thought it would be another... Oh, it's another Batman book, but there's actually a lot of substance there. Tevia says, I love the Batman movie. I really liked it, too. It's weird, like, I remember walking out of the theater thinking, oh, this is great, I loved it, best Batman movie ever. But, like, the more I thought about it and sat on it, I don't know if I'd say I love it, but I do really like it. And it definitely is like a love letter to the character of Batman. Really unlike any movie before. Like, this feels like someone gave a Batman fan the keys to like a film vehicle and said, just drive. We're not gonna put any constraints on you, just drive, have fun. And I really appreciated that as a Batman fan myself, but yeah, no, there are definitely some problems that I have with it, which you'll see in my review tomorrow when I drop that. I think in the evening tomorrow. But yeah, still really good. Um, Amar Pinder, hey, what's up, Amar? How you doing, buddy? Do you think Dick Grayson will be in the Batman sequel? I hope so. Again, I don't want to get too deep into spoilers, but there's a point in the third act of the movie. Sorry, that's obnoxiously loud. That's my tea. But there's a part in the climax of the movie. When Batman is in a bit of a jam, and in that moment, I immediately knew the character who was going to help him out of it, but I was thinking, damn, dude, it would be really cool if Robin was in these movies. And not like a 35-year-old man like Chris O'Donnell was in Batman Forever, like an actual child. Well, not really child. I don't mean like an 8-year-old, but like maybe like a 13 or 14-year-old. In like a brightly colored Robin costume, helping Batman. Like that. That's what I was thinking about when I was watching that scene. Again, I don't want to like talk too much about it because I know some people still haven't seen the movie yet. But yeah, no, dude, I really would like to see Robin in these movies. Also, with Bruce Wayne being depicted the way he is in the Batman, that's a guy that I can totally see, like that's a guy I can totally see adopting some like some teenage kid or like some preteen kid and being like, hey, you have a lot of trauma. Let's work it out by having you dress up as a human target and beating up human traffickers on the docks. Like that's I can totally see Robert Pattinson's Batman doing that at some point in his career. And I would love to see that on film. Also, I think it would go perfectly in line with I can't remember. I think Wonder Woman says this in Young Justice where she critiques Bruce bringing in a child to help fight crime with him, and she's like, oh, I bet you did this so that Robin could be just like you when he grows up. And he's like, no, I did it so that he wouldn't. I can totally see, Battinson, if we're gonna call him that. I can totally see him having that kind of mentality with in regards to Robin or like a child sidekick. I can totally see that happening. So yeah, no, I would love to see that at some point. Tevye says, I still wish DC could give other characters a shot in the spotlight. Like, come on, DC, give us Superman and Flash fans something, or some love or something over nothing. Whoa, hold on a second. That was weird. Okay, are we back? Okay, I think something happened with my internet there. Sorry about that. But, yeah, no. So, I hope you guys heard that thing I said about, Robin. It would really suck if, like, you missed it, because I think that was a pretty baller point that I just made. But, yeah, no. But yeah, to your point, Tevye, I think Superman fans are eating pretty good. I really think Superman fans tend to like exaggerate how hungry we are for content. Like we have a lot of content. Batman has a lot of content, but I also think that like Batman is kind of overexposed to the point where that brand is being diluted, and there's a lot of not great content coming out for Batman. Honestly. But yeah, no, Action Comics is really good right now. We just had the Superman and Lobo series. That was also really good. We're also getting a Superman animated series next year. So, you know, yeah, dude, there's cool Superman content out there. I don't see why Superman fans are often just kind of like bitching and moaning about how we don't. Not that you're bitching. I should probably rephrase that. But like, no, I just don't see why Superman fans are like often just kind of like, oh, we don't get anything. It's like, no, we get enough love. It's Flash fans who don't get any love. Flash fans are really starving. And if you think Flash fans are starving, imagine how Green Arrow fans are feeling. And if you can imagine how fans are feeling, then imagine how Green Lantern fans are feeling. There are other fandoms that DC are just completely neglecting, and yeah, no. Every day I'm thankful that I'm not a Green Lantern fan, because I'd be a wreck, honestly. But yeah, no. Tristan says, last thing was you seeing my comment about Ghostmaker and Clown Hunter. I didn't see the one about I didn't see the bit about Ghostmaker. Honestly, I did not read any James Tynion run on Batman past not Fear State, the one before Fear State. Not War of Jokes and Riddles, because Riddler's not in that story at all. Fuck, what was it? Joker War. I didn't read anything past Joker War. I thought Joker War was pretty terrible, and I just kind of noped out of the whole Tynion run. So I didn't get a chance to meet Ghostmaker, but I hear Ghostmaker's pretty cool. I don't know anything about him, though. I know his costume looks really cool, though, and I know that Todd McFarlane is definitely pimping out that character for some shekels with the Todd McFarlane toy line. But beyond that, yeah, I don't really know much about Ghostmaker. But it looks cool. I'll give you that. And W says, even though in the Nightwing issue we saw a flashback with John Kent, he's meeting Nightwing. That was really cute. But it drives me crazy because the flashback was everything I ever wanted. Yeah, and that's kind of the problem with like John Kent. As you know, the years kind of go on. John Kent's forever gonna be in this. John Kent's forever gonna be in this like battle with himself, where DC's going to try to progress that character in the new status quo that he has to the best of their ability, despite the fact that most Superman fans and John Kent fans just aren't on board, because the thing they had originally with John Kent being a teenager, or not teenager, a child growing into a teenager, I think, was taken away from them. And that's definitely like something I want to talk about in the near future. Fandoms, and how fandoms are often kind of like mislabeled as being toxic or rabid because someone takes something away from them that they really connected with. That's an idea that I think is really kind of fascinating. Because I see it a lot with like the Snyder Cut fan base too, like the Snyder fan base. it's very analogous for what's going on with John Kent. And I guess I'll kind of talk about that just right now. Just give my my immediate thoughts on the whole Snyder situation, because this is something that's kind of been bugging me for the past couple of months. So whenever people mention the Zack Snyder fan base and like people who really want the Snyderverse to come back in DC films, they're often labeled as like toxic. No, that's the toxic fan base. They're bad because they love Zack Snyder's Batman and Superman movies and blah, toxic fandom. Blah. And I find it, well, one, I find it very lacking in empathy. But I also find it very, what's a diplomatic way I can say this? I find it to lack any sense of nuance, and it's a perspective that lacks any real sense of self-awareness. Because most fandoms are like the Snyder fandom. You know, if you've been paying attention for long enough, you'd see that, like, when people of a fandom really connect with something, you know, when people really, like, deeply connect with a character or a comic book run or a series or a team or a movie or a TV show, when Papa Corporation comes along and says, nope, you can't have that anymore. Here's a new thing. Shut up and take new thing. Well, then that fandom gets really mad. Like they do. It's just kind of what happens. And it doesn't help when everyone around that fandom who just had their favorite thing taken from them starts being mocked by people in like a corporate authority, or even just people who are like surrounding them, who are part of different fandoms, who are getting what they want. So then, yeah, they go rabid and they become they become like the worst versions of themselves. And I think it's really funny how a lot of DC Comics fans are, you know, riding this kind of high horse in regards to the Snyder fandom. Like, oh, look at those Zack Snyder fans. Look at them. Oh, they're so toxic and disgusting, and we would never be like that. They're not real DC fans. When just 10 years ago, which I know sounds like a long time, but like, this is going to be me sounding like an old man. But as time goes on, 10 years isn't really that long ago. But just 10 years ago, when DC was rolling out the New 52, and we had all these brand new status quo shifts, we had all these new costume designs for characters. Characters were written out of continuity. Characters were brought in to continuity, but their histories were changed around so that the legacies that they were living up to were radically and fundamentally altered. DC fans blew a conniption. Like, DC fans were freaking the hell out. Like, you had people, you know, DMing comic book artists saying, hey, you're not drawing Superman the right way. Where are his red trunks? You know, because you're not drawing Superman the right way, you're not drawing the real Superman. And, you know what? You suck. You're a Bucky McBuckface. And, you know, just, like, harassing Gail Simone on the internet about, like, Barbara Gordon being Batgirl again, which, granted, that's not a status quo that I like at all. But, nah, dude, like, real DC fans, you know, DC Comics fans, were just absolutely atrocious for several years. on the internet, sometimes towards comic book creators over stupid shit. Like, the Flash has extra lines on his costume. Again, I don't like that design either. I still think it looks pretty bad. But, like, leave Brian Bucciolato alone, okay? Leave Francis Manapul alone. The real people in charge of that were, like, Jim Lee and Dan DiDio. Like, they leave the people who are, like, actually just creating the content alone. But, you know, no, we don't like to think about that in regards to the whole, like, Snyder discussion, you know? We just like to think of the Snyder fans as, like, these toxic devils and demons that need to be put in their place, and they need to sit down and shut the fuck up, and they just need to accept that this is what the DC movies are doing, and real DC fans would be okay with it. And it's like, well, 10 years ago, you guys were pretty... you guys were very hard to distinguish between, like, what the Snyder fans are doing now and what you guys were doing, like, 10 years ago. So, like, I don't know, just... that whole thing is very frustrating for me. And I don't know where I was going with that, but... you know, the whole thing with fandom is that, like, fandom's just gonna... Part of being a fan is being passionate, you know? And... I definitely see what a lot of John Kent fans are feeling, because I understand what a lot of Snyder fans are feeling, but yeah, no. Let me look at some more chats in here. Yeah, the stream was freezing. Yeah, sorry about that. My internet's just really terrible. I'm happy Wally West, My Flash by Jeremy Adams book has been fantastic. Yeah, no, it's a fine book. It's very comfy. Yeah, it's very comfortable. I'll say that. It's not worth the $3.99 price tag in my opinion. But yeah, it's good for what it is. Tevi says the new Superman animated series doesn't give me any hope. That's very ironic. Sorry, this is me being a smartass. But yeah, no. We just haven't seen anything from it yet. I hope that it will be really cool. It doesn't look like I'm the target audience immediately. It looks like something that's more for, like, the Steven Universe, like, type fandom and, like, the Owl House type fandom. But I think that's perfectly fine, you know. Superman's a versatile enough character where you can just kind of, like, do whatever the fuck you want with him, and I don't know, as long as you keep the basic fundamentals down, well, then you did a good Superman adaptation, and that's fine. And I guess now with, like, Zack Snyder stuff in my brain, you know, well, no, fuck it, I will get into that. I think, like, a lot of the ire around, like, Man of Steel and BVS and, you know, stuff like that is really kind of silly. And I've actually seen a lot of people, since the Batman's release, say, I really want a Superman movie made with the same kind of love and care as Matt Reeves' The Batman. And honestly, I don't think we'll ever get that. And part of the reason for that is there's a core difference between Batman and Superman in that Batman is a character who has been sort of, like, categorized by fandom. You know, like, sometimes we take characters and we put them in, like, genre categories. So Batman is a character who fits into the crime drama category, you know, because it's like a neo noir kind of thing. That's just kind of how we that's how we have like categorized him based off of his character and whatnot. Superman doesn't have that, because Superman as a character is still very broad, and that is both the character's greatest strength and his greatest weakness. Because with Superman being such a versatile character, arguably more so than Batman, you're gonna see people telling various types of stories with that character, and what works for one person in the Superman fandom definitely won't work for someone else in the Superman fandom. So, you know, that's kind of how you run into the situation where, in my opinion, I think you can put Henry Cavill Superman right next to Christopher Reeve Superman, and then put them both right next to George Reeve Superman from like the 1950s TV series. And despite the fact that they're all completely different presentations of the same character, they're all equally valid. You know, I don't know what else to tell you, man. Like they all hit the core fundamentals of the character, which are doomed planet, desperate scientist, last hope, kindly couple, truth, justice, American way, better tomorrow, red cape, blue body condom, red boots, Superman. You know, I think those are the core things you kind of got to nail for a Superman adaptation, or just, you know, approach to the character in general. And everything else, you know, all the other like fine nitty gritty details, and for that reason, I think like every kind of adaptation that we've gotten of Superman just kind of worked perfectly fine. But that's also the problem. Yeah, I don't know. Because of that, the Superman fandom's just like fractured, kind of beyond comprehension. And unlike Batman, who's a character that we have like kind of a core like frame of reference for, you know, which is really the animated series. You know, the animated series is kind of like the core kind of thing that every Batman fan points to and says, that's Batman. That's all-encompassing Batman. If you nail like that tone and that feel and that vibe, well, then you did Batman right. Superman doesn't have that. You know, Superman still to this day kind of is stuck in that mode of being pretty, I don't want to say ambiguous, but I'll say like fluid and flexible. And because of that, we're never probably going to see an adaptation for Superman like the Batman. Because, again, Superman's just too versatile of a character, I think. Yeah, those are my opinions. Oh, yeah. How do we talk? Yeah, we started talking about this because Tevye brought up the Superman animated series coming out, I think, next year. But yeah, I don't know. Until I see a trailer for it with, like, you know, the voice cast doing their thing, I won't judge it. But just like off the animation style alone, it looks like it's kind of aiming for that like Steven Universe, like Owl House, Gravity Falls kind of fandom, which is cool. You know, again, just versatile character. Let's see. Tevye says bad status quo, no one wanted. I think you're still talking about the John Kent thing. Yeah, no, it's bad. Also, Although I think in theory you can make it work. I really think in theory you can make it work, and I think Philip Kennedy Johnson's doing a really good job. In fact, I think Philip Kennedy Johnson's doing most of the heavy lifting for making the status quo work. I am of the opinion that you can make anything work. You know, I don't subscribe to the idea that if a status quo is bad, well, then everything else around it's going to be bad. I think that you can make, if life gives you lemons, you don't have to be stuck with just making lemonade. You can make a fucking lemon meringue pie. You can make lemon tart. You can make lemon nipple titty squishers. You can make anything with lemons, and it can come out good. You just have to use what you got and use it to the best of your ability. So I think you can make the John Kent status quo work. It's just I don't think Tom Taylor's the guy to do that. At this point, all we have now is the Super Sons animated movie and Young Justice animated series, which in my opinion has been both my boys John and Damian Justice. Well, I mean, they're like 3 in the show, but like, yeah, I see what you mean. And I see that that New Menace showed up. I almost said New Mencia. That makes no sense. What's up, New Menace? How you doing, buddy? I'll get to your question in a minute. Just gonna run down in order real quick. Tevia says some people believe the Discovery merger will bring the Snyderverse. I'm going to wait and see what happens. I'm not in those corporate boardrooms. I'm not even gonna try to pretend to know what's going on behind closed doors. All I know is that I think it would be a smarter and wiser idea to just continue with the Snyderverse, even if you're not going to have Zack Snyder be a part of it. You know, do it like comics. Hold on a second. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. What the fuck, phone? What are you doing? Let's see. Fuck, where was I? God damn it. Was I talking about? Oh, Snyderverse. Okay, so yeah, no. I think it would be a wiser idea for DC and Warner Brothers to continue the Snyderverse, even if you're not going to have Zack Snyder be a part of it. Just continue with those characters and those status quos and just kind of go from there. I don't think you have to reboot the whole goddamn thing. And I think the idea behind rebooting it in the first place was just out of pure spite for Zack Snyder. And like contempt for like that fan base for bullying them into delivering a Snyder cut. That's what I think was going on. But yeah, I don't know. Tevia says my phone's 5G is having the stream not working, but it keeps freezing. Well, it looks like 5G and DC talk just doesn't mix. That's an old callback. I'm sure everyone's forgotten about DC 5G at this point, but yeah, I don't know. And Tevia says kind of ironic, especially during the New 52. Oh, if you were talking about the whole thing we were talking about earlier with like DC Comics fans looking down on Zack Snyder fans being toxic, while DC Comics fans were like absolutely atrocious toddlers during the entirety of the New 52 era. Yeah, no, very ironic. Personally, I was hoping for a Superman animated series where we get Superman that was a family series, because that show looked great, especially with young John Kent Superboy. Well, okay. I'm really glad people like John Kent. I'm gonna throw this out there, and this is gonna be a very controversial take. I don't like Dad Superman. Now, John's really cute. I think John is adorable. I love him. I love what he's kind of brought to the mythology of Superman and how he's kind of evolved Clark Kent as a character and putting Clark in a more father figure role, which is something that he's never really had to deal with directly before. But just my personal sensibilities, I do not like Superman as a dad. That's just not something that I'm interested in seeing. I know that makes me a heretic, but that's also like one of the big reasons why the Superman and Lois TV show, while it's a decent show, I just can't get into. Season 1 was cool, and then I watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes of season 2, and I was like, I'm done with this because I don't give a shit about Clark being a dad. You know, that's not. I don't know. Am I the bad guy? Am I a bad guy for not liking Dad Superman? I don't know. I just don't see Superman as a dad. I see Superman as like a cool hip uncle, but I've always been more interested in Superman as this guy who is an alien and deep down sees himself as an alien who is removed from the world around him. And as he gets older, he kind of gets over, that perspective, and like he kind of gets over himself in a way, and he accepts his humanity, and he accepts that, he's not from Krypton, he's from Kansas, that like kind of Max Landis American alien idea. But like even still deep down, I like the loneliness of being the last son of Krypton. I like that idea. And how he's not even really the last son of Krypton. Like, with all the other Kryptonians that kind of show up, from the Phantom Zone and Supergirl, they're real Kryptonians. And Clark is kind of this in-between where he's not quite a human and he's not quite a Kryptonian. I don't know. It's really fascinating, that dynamic, and I like the loneliness that kind of comes with that. I think that's really interesting to watch Superman kind of fight against that in a way, and kind of like defy those very like natural feelings that one would feel while trying to live up to the ideal of what Superman is and is supposed to represent. I think that's more fascinating than Superman as a dad, but I don't know. And I think giving Superman children that do have superpowers kind of takes that away from the character. But again, I'm sure I'm in the minority there. And Toby says, same goes with Tyler Hoechlin, Superman, who's doing an excellent job on the Superman and Lois show. Yeah, he's a good actor. I like him as Superman. I just much prefer the flashback scenes where, like, he's doing the thing that I like, as opposed to like living on the farm with his kids. Numinous says, what do you prefer, single issues or trade paperback? Oh boy, trade paperback. Like, that's not even a competition. Historically, I don't. How do I say this? It's not that I don't appreciate the historical value of, the comic book reading process where you get a new issue every month or like, every 2 weeks, and you're just like, oh wow, this happened, and I guess I gotta wait 2 weeks or the next like 4 weeks to get the continuation of the story. But I didn't grow up in that era. I grew up in an era where I had everything right here, so I expect to read the whole story all at once. I'm impatient like that. That's just how I am. And for that reason, I just much prefer to read things in trade. Also, I tend not to read my single issues after I've already collected them. Um, like, the only thing my single issues are really useful for is getting them signed at conventions. Outside of that, I don't go back and read them. If I want to read the story, I just buy the fucking trade. Like, it's that simple, you know? Well, okay, hold on a second. So, like, stuff like this, like these graphic albums are kind of a different story. Because I also collect graphic albums, specifically like the Valerian and Laureline series, which I'm not sure if you guys have ever read those or not, but like those are it's an old like 1970s and actually really like 1960s French graphic album series, heavily inspirational and stuff like Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica and other series like that. But that's like a graphic album series. You know, Heavy Metal is a graphic album like anthology book. I go back and reread like those every once in a while, because I can put those on my bookshelf. I don't just shove them in a long box and forget about them for the next 5 years until I need to sell some of my comics. So I guess we're gonna count these and like, you know, these as single issues. Well then, yeah, I read these and I have a lot of fun reading them. But yeah, no, I much prefer to read my comics like this. Because also I can travel with these, you know. If I'm like on my way to work or school, I can just pop one of these in my backpack, and on the metro or on the bus, I can just kind of flip through and, oh, that's cool, yeah. Oh, let me stop, cool, put it away. And then if I'm getting like the next bus, well, okay, pull it out of my backpack and then, oh, okay, cool, yeah, okay, where to leave off? Yeah, sweet. You know, and you can't really do that with single issues. You can't really like drag like a whole ass, you know, backpack that's full of like 15 back issues and read through them in Starbucks. Like, I no, I don't have the patience for that. I'd rather just read the thing like a book, which is ironic because I read books on my phone now. I've become that guy. But yeah, no. To answer your question, I much prefer trades to single issues. Tebby says, I looked up the artwork for that animated series with Superman and Lois and John Kent and the family animated series set, and it looked really cute and adorable. Also, a bonus, they were supposed to be a great Steel on show. Yeah, Steel keeps getting the shaft. I really wish DC would stop dropping the ball with Steel. You know, well, not just Steel, because Steel's two characters. Specifically Natasha and John Henry. Like, they're really good characters. Again, I'm going through the City of Tomorrow comics, and they're so good. And it really kind of sucks how just in modern times, DC's just completely dropped the ball with those characters. It's a damn shame. Tabby says, by the way, season 2 of Superman and Lois, we have Bizarro, and that's really awesome. Yeah, I've seen clips from that. It looks really cool. Tabby says, personally, I disagree because I think Superman as a dad is a great status quo and tons of fun. Besides, Batman can be a dad. Why not Superman? That's just my opinion. No, I see you, and I get that rebuttal a lot. I just think personally, there's a really interesting like dynamic twist behind having Batman, who's this consummate bachelor, who lives this like fast-paced lifestyle. You know, he's he's beating up, human traffickers on the docks of Gotham City, and he's going across the globe, and he's beating up like international terrorists, and it's very James Bond. Have that guy raise kids. It kind of makes your brain do one of those like, what? Him raising children? That's weird. Why not have that Superman guy? Only it's just because Superman can't have kids. He's an alien. He's physiologically just he can't do it. I've always liked that idea. I've always preferred the idea that being, human in appearance, physiologically he's not human. So yeah. Any other questions? Because if not, I'm gonna wrap it up because my internet is just being absolute dog shit right now. Also, I'm like halfway through my review for the Batman. Again, that's coming tomorrow. Numinous says I'm in a similar boat to get into, especially like older types of books. Yeah, dude. No. When a lot of books are put in trade, it's just easier to read them because there's just an easier access to them. Because one of the problems with